I, a teen female, think my brother's 25 girlfriend, Julie, 24, is trying to get rid of me. I live with my brother because no one wanted me after my parents divorced, so my brother took me. He was 18 when I was 8. We lived alone together until a year ago when he got a girlfriend. She doesn't live with us, but she's often at our apartment. I don't like her, but I already know he has some resentment toward me because he had to take care of me even when my parents were still together. He couldn't have a life because he was always busy with me. I think they want to get married, and I'm scared about where I will go. My mom doesn't live in the country. She returned to Korea after the divorce, and my dad is busy with his new family. Anyway, I wanted to watch something with my brother's phone after school. I saw a notification come up at the top, and it was from my mom. I was curious because I don't talk to my mom, like ever, and I didn't think he did either. Long story short, he wants to send me to live with my mom in Korea because Julie wants to move in and start a family. She said that when they start their family, they don't want to be looking after a teenager as well. I didn't tell him anything and just put the phone back. I went to sleep really scared, and now today I went to my cousin's house and told him what my brother was planning to do, and he told his mom. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm always nice to her. I don't know why she doesn't like me. I really don't want to move. I have friends here and everything. I thought he loved me and wouldn't make me return to her. My cousin's mom ended up asking him why he would send me to live with my mom, and he asked her how she knew. She said that I told my cousin and he told her. My brother took me back home because he didn't want to cause a scene at my aunt's house. When we got back, he asked me how I knew, and I told him I saw his text to our mom about how he was sending me away. I was really mad and I was yelling at him. He just tried to hug me and sat down on the couch with his head down, not talking. Then, about 10 minutes later, Julie came. When she came into the living room, she asked what happened and my brother said she knew. Then Julie tried to talk to me and I stood up and started yelling that I didn't understand why she had a problem with me, but I was his sister, so I wasn't leaving. I also called her some names because I was really angry. Then, to my surprise, my brother pushed my shoulder and told me to go to my room. I asked why and he yelled at me to go to my room. Julie was crying at this point. I went to my room and cried. I still think he's going to send me away. I don't know why she doesn't like me. I didn't do anything to her. Am I the idiot for yelling at my brother's girlfriend because she's trying to get rid of me? I told my friends about this, and they said I shouldn't have yelled because she probably had her reasons to want me with my mother. OP, I will start by saying what your parents have done to you and your brother isn't okay. They abandoned you and him and have done what is called parentification. This means your brother was forced to be the parent. It's not okay at all. Your brother had to put his own life on hold because of you, at no fault of your own. It's not your fault, but your brother needs to focus on his own life, and your mother needs to start being a mother again. Your brother and Julie aren't doing anything wrong by wanting to move forward with their lives. It doesn't mean they don't love you, and you're blaming Julie and using her as a scapegoat. The whole thing, it's not okay. OP should give her brother some grace because he's given it his best for 7 years. And you forgot to mention OP's dad. He doesn't get a free pass on this. Mom is in another country. The dad isn't, apparently, from this post. He just got remarried and had a new family. OP, if anything, should stay in the country they currently live in and should live with their father if she's not going to reside with her brother. The parents are horrible human beings, and OP and brother have been a long time. It would be dumb to try to restart in Korea. Not the idiot, and I wish I could give you a huge hug. You've been failed by literally every adult who was supposed to be there for you. My mom is currently engaged and hasn't said anything about the wedding so far. For some background, my wife Lainey loves the holidays but never gets to host as my mom won't let go. Yes, I know Lainey could still host, but no one would attend. I've previously asked my mom to step back and let someone else have some limelight, but she just says Lainey can host when she's dead, and she isn't even that old, so we're talking maybe 40-something years. The one holiday Lainey gets to host is New Year's Eve, as it isn't a family-based holiday and our friends are available. Lainey loves it and goes all out. She begins planning the party right after the last one ends, and her goal is always to be bigger and better. My mom knows we have had some parties, but to be fair, I don't know if she knows how much they mean to her. She isn't close to Lainey. My mom set her wedding day for New Year's Eve in St. Bart's, so hosting would be impossible for Lainey. When Lainey heard, she was beyond devastated. I saw tears in her eyes and told her to give me time to think it through. I came to the conclusion that my wife trumps my mom because, well, duh, she's my wife. My mom is being selfish by taking our holiday and trying to summon us all out of the country when she's used to having all of the attention on her anyway. I don't even like the groom. I called my mom and explained that it was an important holiday for Lainey and that I couldn't make it. She called me an idiot and said it would be embarrassing when people asked where I was. She tried to guilt me, but I wouldn't hear it. My aunt and uncle reacted badly and banned Lainey and me from their house. Now my whole family is calling me a selfish idiot and blaming Lainey. Even my dad, who despises my mom, was like, "Wow, that's cold," and told me I was making a mistake. So mom refuses to let anyone host the holidays and everyone lets her monopolize them. Your wife makes giant New Year's Eve parties because she wants to host and has been frozen out by the family. Mom decides to get married on the one day your wife does something significant. You know that now every New Year's Eve is going to be a big anniversary party that mom hosts and the family will go to. And how dare you not support your mom, right? Not the idiot. Don't let your mom take New Year's Eve from your wife, but also know that you're going to be crapped on by your mom's family for the rest of her marriage. Oh wow, I never thought that would always be the anniversary date. That does seem totally planned now. OP, your mom and her family sound like idiots. I would go no contact with anyone who treats you and your wife like crap. Lean into the relationship you have on your dad's side of the family and your friends. Dude, you blamed it on your wife. Seriously, you told your mother you would not be attending because of your wife. Couldn't you say, "Mom, I don't like your future husband"? "Mom, I've decided not to go because I don't want to go to St. Bart's." "Mom, I don't want to travel because of the holiday." You straight up throw your wife under the bus. You are selfish and have used your wife as an excuse. Why didn't you ask your mom why she chose New Year's Eve? Did you ask her if she did it to purposely hurt your wife? You are the idiot for making this Lainey's fault. You didn't stand up for your wife. You made her life worse. I, a 40-year-old male, and my wife, a 42-year-old female, have been married for 5 years. I have a teen daughter from a previous relationship. Her mother wanted nothing to do with her when she was born. When I met my wife, she was worried about being a bad stepmother to my daughter. They became close and they have a spa day every Mother's Day. My daughter has very long hair down to her shoulders. She hates putting it up in ponytails and complains about the length of time it takes to blow dry. She's a big tomboy, and one of her friends recommended she get a pixie cut. I booked her an appointment to get the cut she wanted, and she was very happy. She's been in such a great mood and loves having short hair. When I brought her home to see my wife, she dropped what she was doing and looked like she was about to faint. She asked why I'd allowed my daughter to cut all her hair off. I told her that this was the cut my daughter wanted. My wife was furious and started telling me how I'd ruined my daughter's image. I shot back at her to get over the haircut as it made my daughter happy. That was all I wanted, for my daughter to be happy. My wife continued complaining about the haircut, even around my daughter, and I had to tell her multiple times to drop it. My daughter has been very depressed and it's worrying me. I've been giving my wife the cold shoulder, and she's being very cold to both my daughter and me. Am I the idiot for telling my wife to get over my daughter's short hair? Not the idiot. The way she continues to complain about the cut itself and the girl's image sounds like she thinks girls shouldn't have short hair. Maybe she was okay with your daughter's tomboyness as long as she still had what your wife considers a major signal of femininity, and now she feels the girl is too masculine. Regardless of the nature of her issue, she's making a child feel bad about her appearance and her preferences for her own body, and she needs to stop. My mother lost it when I cut my hair really short for the first time. I was 20 years old but still living at home while on break from college. I think half of my mom's church also assumed I was gay because of my hair. OP, tell Mother Gothel to back off. I'm not sure what's going on with your wife here. She has some odd hang-ups about hair. Short hair, tomboy. I'm increasingly convinced that the panic from women about girls cutting their hair short is a badly disguised, "Oh no, maybe she's a lesbian" panic. People must stop getting their panties in a twist about girls cutting their hair short. Good grief, your wife has issues. My husband and I finally bought our first house, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a year ago. Over the holidays, we decided to take on the role of hosting a few get-togethers. From my perspective, it was a nightmare. I hated every second of it. I never really hosted anything or entertained or whatever you want to call it. It could be that I'm not used to the requirements. But growing up, my mom and dad would host family, and they were nothing like this. My in-laws did things like let kids run around screaming and yelling up and down stairs, touching things that didn't belong to them, making messes, and not making them clean up after themselves. Parents didn't bring anything for the kids to do and got cranky with us for not having anything for them. They brought a dog into our house and let the dog on the furniture. Stomped around the house with their shoes on despite being asked to remove them. Left trash, paper plates, etc. sitting around or balled up instead of placing them in the trash. They often opened multiple bottles or cans of drinks, took only a sip and left it open. Pulled out and used new rolls of toilet paper when plenty was left on the rolls. Opened medicine cabinets. Only one person asked if we needed help at any point, and it was my husband's brother's new girlfriend, who we were all meeting for the first time. She offered to help us clean up, bring out food, etc. This was a terrible experience. My husband was shocked at his family's behaviour and didn't know what to say. I don't blame him for this at all. He was just a part of the hosting as me, but he was also seeing his family through new eyes. When he talked to his mom and dad after, they just laughed at us and said, "That's what hosting is." So we decided we would rather not go through all that again. Easter is coming up and my in-laws asked what our plans are. My husband said we wouldn't host after everyone's awful manners. His mom and dad are upset with us. We have a big house, so they figured it would be on us from now on. We said that the only way we would ever even consider hosting is if every member of his family pitched in some way. They said that defeats the purpose of someone else hosting and that no one should be expected to pitch in if we offer to host. So we said we won't host. Maybe I'm just not meant to host. But are we truly so far out of bounds to refuse to host anymore because of how his family behaves? Not the idiot. They say that defeats the purpose of someone else hosting and that no one should be expected to pitch in if we offer to host. Great, so they can host and you guys can attend and make a mess and leave it. Perfect. Tell them thank you for suggesting it. But what kind of people does OP have? I have 7 siblings and 32 nieces and nephews ages 0 to 30. Everyone pitches in. Yes, it's hectic and kids make messes, but everyone helps set up and clean up. For your in-laws to expect you to host and do everything yourself is nonsense. They would never be welcome back into my home. Oh, you mean basic human decency and manners, LOL. What, were they doing a stress test to see how much you would put up with on the first go so they would know how badly they could get away with behaving from then on? Sure looks like it. I was wondering if this was intentional. Regardless, OP, you should not back down. If this is how they always are, they will not change at this point. If this was a choice, they were fully aware of what they were putting you through and chose to do so. Let that sink in. They either think this is perfectly okay, or they deliberately treat you disrespectfully. Neither of these things will be solved by your hosting again. Hold your ground. Starting with background, my parents were best friends for many years and never in a relationship. But in college they had an intoxicated one-night stand and I, a teen male, am the result. They didn't try to make a romantic relationship work, but stayed friends. I was always told they loved each other, but they weren't in love with each other, and they made a great team of parents for me. I was 1 when my mom went missing. She had some mental health issues and nobody knows what happened to her. She's a missing person still 15 years later. Her parents, siblings and my dad never gave up the search for her, and they still hope we'll find out one day. I grew up very close to my maternal grandparents, aunts and uncles. My dad stayed close to them too. My dad met my stepmom when I was 4 and married her when I was 7, after living together for a year, since I was 6. My stepmom had a son who was 2 years older than me, my stepbrother. He never knew his dad and doesn't consider my dad to be his dad. I don't consider my stepmom to be my mom either, but I do love her. My stepmom asked to adopt me 3 times, once after the wedding, another time when I was 10, and then on my last birthday. I said no to the adoption each time. My stepbrother has taken so much offence on his mom's behalf for this. He told me his mom has been raising me and treating me as her son for 10 years now, and longer really, and I should let her adopt me, and I should let her have that level of legal connection with me. He told me it makes her feel like crap when I reject her in favour of a missing woman I don't remember, and who could have just chosen to leave me behind for all any of us know. He told me I was an ungrateful brat and I act like I'm a petulant 6-year-old and his mom deserves better. I argued that I could say the same about him being adopted by my dad. He told me he made it clear to my dad that he didn't want him to be his dad from day 1. I asked him why it was different for him and not for me, and he said because my dad doesn't live in anyone's shadow. We argued a few times about this, but the last time was a few days ago, and my stepmom was there. I fired back that my stepbrother doesn't have the right to pressure me into being adopted by his mom. My stepmom got upset and my stepbrother called me an idiot. I found out after this that my dad never knew that my stepmom had asked to adopt me. He was also upset that I was being pressured into this. My stepmom said I was rude to my stepbrother. My stepbrother told our half-siblings, and they're also upset about the whole thing. This has become such a mess, and my mom's family has been insulted in all of this too, and I hate it all. But am I the idiot for what I said to him? Not the idiot. Your stepbrother is totally immature, lacks emotional awareness, only his opinion can be correct, is a hypocrite and a bully. Your stepmother totally overstepped by asking you without at least informing your father and including him in the discussion. You should share your feelings about the situation with your father and, depending on how mature they are, maybe your stepbrothers. I'm really sorry for you and I hope things will get better. His behavior should have been corrected a while ago. The stepbrother is likely parroting his mother, who sees no problem with her son not accepting her husband in the way she claims rejection is so hurtful. She hid her insistence on the matter from her husband. I'd be willing to bet that not living in someone else's shadow came straight from her mouth. Whoa, your stepmom included her son in her pressure tactics. Next time he tries to goad you on this, remember that no is a complete sentence and a reasonable answer. You do not need to justify your response or explain your answer to him. It's harder to bully a wall.